All right, it's Tuesday. Show Me the Money Club live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Rideshare Guy. We're getting in anticipation of the CNN debate, and if anybody's paying attention, yeah, we're getting in anticipation for the old guy or the old guys. One snoozes and one poops, and the other one's a felon. So it's gonna be a crazy one. But we're not talking politics. No, we are talking rideshare, guy. We're talking rideshare. We have a lot going on. So Sergio, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How about you? Wait,
I'm doing good.
it was a scramble, bro. I know, you know what I mean?
I know.
You know what's happening. So I was like, holy crap.
We
But anyway,
got
I'm doing well.
a lot of late breaking stuff. We got a lot of great details on the late breaking stuff. So if you are on X or Facebook, or you've been paying attention to the channel the last 24 hours or so, seeing this standard versus advantage stuff, we're going to be breaking it down. We got a lot of details straight from Uber. So we're going to give you the most in-depth reaction to it as well, with all the details and our overall thoughts on it as well. So yeah, a lot going on there. Let's get right into the rundown, what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about Uber winning a lawsuit for racially discrimination deactivations. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about Uber and Lyft blaming each other. Shots fired. Pew, pew, pew. And locking drivers out without warning mid-shift. We're also going to be talking about more pressure on delivery companies regarding illegals buying fake accounts on the dark web. Not only that, it's also coming to Uber and Lyft and making extra money during or driving during Uber and Lyft is what it should say. Damn me. But yes, we're going to be talking about something there. And we're also going to be talking about Sergio's Uber boycott on app override permissions. So if you've been following Sergio over on X, he's been kind of doing his daily updates since last Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about it through today and what's going on there. We're also going to be talking about, is Uber giving all offers on Trip Radar as punishment for low acceptance rates? What this standard and advantage is 5%, what people are seeing, where it's coming, what's happening, and all of that. And it's pretty much today's title of the show. So it's a punish reward system. It's truly behavior modification over anything. We'll talk about what that is and go into much greater depth and details. We're also going to be talking about, is the federal government finally looking into algorithmic wage discrimination and dynamic pricing? And, if they're looking into algorithmic wage discrimination, wouldn't that kind of be a little hindrance to their whole standard versus advantage thing that they're going to be rolling out? We'll be talking about that and kind of speculating there. And then also, of course, we're going to end on some funny and fakes. So yeah, we got a lot going on for you. Hold on, give me a second. Where is it? All right, Janice, we want to say thank you for becoming a new member, and Will, we want to say thanks for being a member. So we appreciate that, people, and thank you for that. And with that being said, let's get into our announcements before we get into the show and going. So if you would kindly like and share the show, we appreciate it, because we want to hit as many rideshare drivers out there as possible. They are our brothers and sisters out there on the road, and we want to help reach out and get to them as much as we can. So if you kindly like and share the show, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, as we pointed out with our two members, our new member and our current member, as well as all of our other members, if you'd like to support the show, if you like what we're doing here, please think about becoming a member and helping support the channel. Also, if you speak Spanish or know somebody who does, or if you don't speak Spanish and you want to see Sergio, myself, and our other contributors here on the Rideshare Guy talking in Spanish through the wonderful AI technology of 11 Labs, they don't pay me to say that, but 11 Labs, if you're watching, call us up. But either way, it's pretty cool, because yes, it sounds just like Sergio, myself, Joe, Key, and everybody who's on the channel. So it's pretty interesting. But yes, if you know somebody who speaks Spanish or primarily speaks Spanish, or like I say, if you want to see us speaking Spanish, head over there. It's at the Rideshare Guy en Espanol, and you can watch us there, subscribe, and watch that. And if you want our delivery content, we're going to split off and put our delivery content over onto the Delivery Guy by RSG, and that is at the Delivery Guy by RSG. And also, if you want more in-depth content from RSG, and want to get notified of new specials and notifications when YouTube doesn't notify you, sign up for the free RSG newsletter. Not only that, Sergio writes for it, enjoys the writing, and talks about some more in-depth details than what we can talk about here on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, get those awesome free notifications on being a better driver, making more money, and all that good stuff, head over there, sign up. Link is going to be in the description. And Sergio, I don't know if you want to say anything there on that.
Yeah, I actually do. Yeah, what we're going to talk about, it showed up in the Uber blog a couple of hours ago. We're going to talk about it in detail. Obviously, I was sent that by Uber, and I'm going to do an article, in fact, today, and probably get published this week, if not tomorrow or the next day. So that's going to be on the subscription newsletter side on www.rideshareguy.com. There were a couple of questions about how do you guys get a dash cam through us? You don't get it through us, but if you email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com, I'll direct you to the right path. And I'll give you the discount codes, etc. It's by Display Ride, which I've been using for a year and a half. Yeah, anyway, yeah, subscribe to the newsletter. A lot to talk about. Let's get into it. I will put my 2 cents in of what this new thing is that they're doing. But yeah, this is almost more important, Chris.
It is very important, actually. So for those who are not watching the screens right now and just listening, we are doing and collecting your cars and what they look like, how you present your car to your passengers when you are driving Uber and Lyft. We'd love to know. We'd love to see. And this is a picture that I found on Facebook of a car. So it's got the Super Nintendo in there, which is pretty cool, and a screen monitor so you can play. But they need to fix the cords there. They need to do a lot of wire management instead of just having there, because if somebody puts something in like a bag and then they go grab it and it's a little bit dark out or something and they don't really see, they could grab a cord and yank it, and they could yank out something on the Nintendo or on the TV, and guess what? Now it's broke. So a little cable management there, but that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be rating and critiquing your car setups. So if you'd like to participate in this, make sure you email Sergio@therideshareguy.com. We have a bunch already. We have some very clean, aesthetically pleasing setups, all the way to some crazy, crazy setups with like monitors galore. You think you'd be cops or something, but you guys got a lot in there. So we're going to go through it. We're going to collect them through the end of this month, and then we're going to start critiquing them. I think what we're going to do, because we have quite a few, we're probably going to like split them into different tiers. So like the aesthetically pleasing, the ones that are maybe a little over the top, that type of stuff, and kind of break them down, critique them a little bit. But we want to see what you guys have. So make sure you send it our way, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. And we'll be able to do that very soon. I think starting next week, right, Sergio?
Yeah, we'll start showing them, and we had a bunch. We had over a dozen, I think, right? So and the winner will get $50. I mean, hey, if you have it, send it. If you like your setup, if your riders are happy about it, we'd like to see it. You have some amazing competition, though. We have some good ones. And so yeah, send them to me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Again, my email, I'm going to repeat it throughout the show, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. We can't do it without you guys, right? You guys have become my eyes and ears. I get tons of emails, but it's okay. The reason actually Uber kind of rushed and did what they did today was because they had a little bit early spinach going on. And, I received 50 emails yesterday, Chris, between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all about the standard versus advantage thing. I didn't know anything about it. But then when they start piling up, right, then I know, okay, something is happening. Okay, I'll just go tweet it out. I tweeted it out, and sure enough, Uber reads my tweets, and then they go, oh, this is not supposed to go out yet. I'm like, one of your 33,000 employees messed it up. So Yes,
I like this. This is a
you
good
know, we
drinking
should do
game.
that. We take a shot every time I say hocus pocus. I'm gonna say quite a bit of it today. You'll be drunk. But anyway,
You did
so
did
thank you
you ever
for
watch the show How I Met Your Mother? It was on
yeah,
2005 to, like, 2012. Hilarious
yeah,
show if you haven't. I think
yeah.
it's on Hulu, so you can go rewatch it, all the seasons. But one of the episodes, Robin, one of the main characters, uh, was a news anchor, and one of the drinking it was a drinking games when she would say, "But, So every time she said, "But, they would have to drink, and so,
Yeah.
it was a college, that the other main character was teaching at, and so they were all drinking, having a party, and she knew about it, so she kept saying "but throughout the entire show just to like prove a point. And then at the end, she's like but So
The whole
everybody the
bottle.
next day was just like hungover completely. She comes in with a friggin' loud horn and just
Yeah,
so
but no, I
I think we
mean,
should do something like that if we could prove it.
you know, we're all used to the hocus pocus, okay? So we're not, you know, it doesn't bother me anymore, honestly. But I like coming up with these idioms to
Yep.
label what they're trying to do, and then it kind of sticks, you know.
Mhm.
But anyway, so yeah, please send them to me. Anything and everything you see, whatever you guys think. I mean, you don't send me to me like, oh, look, Sergio, you didn't pay me cancellation fee. Don't send me emails for that. But if you guys see changes happening in your market, be my eyes and ears and send them to me. This is how we nail these people. There's no ifs and buts about it. This has been working for the last 2 years. You know, if I may just, you know, preempt the the atomic bombs that are going to drop in July, I'm so excited for July. Not because of 4th of July. There is a lot happening in July. So that's all I'm going to say. But stay tuned. A lot of good stuff coming up, and keep up the good fight, man. The only way we can do it is by you guys being involved and sending me these things, and we talk about it. And companies are 100% watching. Hello, everybody at Uber, uh, and they're reading tweets. You know, uh, and you know, some are good people, some are horrible people over there, and some are just doing their best to, you know, work with us. And you know, but ultimately, public company, share price is the share price, $140 billion worth of equity in there. So but anyway, so let's get into our first topic, buddy.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about Uber winning a lawsuit and what that means, what's going on.
this
Um,
this has been going on for 4 years. There was an Asian driver who was trying to make this go into a class action. He was contending that he was deactivated um, due to racially motivated reasons. And Uber won this one. Uber had lost a massive one last week, which is, I think, a lot more important, specifically because of Prop 22 or what's going to happen to Prop 22. This is obviously important. We don't like people getting deactivated for any reason whatsoever, let alone for racial reasons. And we do know that the passengers, riders, you know, with one fraudulent claim can get you booted off. Although lately, I think things are getting a little bit better when it comes to deactivations.
mhm.
You know, with the review process, with the you know, it has definitely gotten better. So, but then they will put you on sideline. They sideline you for about 72 hours, do their own research or investigation by a human, as opposed to getting fired by an AI bot. And you know, things are moving in the right direction when it comes to that. But this gentleman thought that he was deactivated due to you know, racial profiling. And you know, in this case, Uber won the appeal, and so the lawsuit's going to go away. You know, I mean, look, we're all one fraudulent complaint away from getting deactivated. So therefore, you should have a dash cam.
Yeah.
I mean, if seriously, and you know, like, you know, I want to plug display right in here again because I use it, and they have anti-deactivation protections. How do they do that? They're recording. You know, the second you turn your car on and start your shift, it starts recording and it uploads to the cloud. So in case something goes sideways, you know, the you know, you're getting carjacked, God forbid, they grab the camera, it's already in the cloud, too late. right? And it's a great little camera, inside, outside, obviously. And and if you do get deactivated, they can send you all the trips and prove. Well, in this country we have something called, you know, innocent until proven guilty. But then in the rideshare, it's the other way around. It's guilty until we can prove ourselves innocent. So we have to prove ourselves innocent by having a dash cam footage saying, hey, nothing like that happened. Because there are no, I'm not going to call them unscrewed. There are low life riders out there, right? To get their $6 back, they will go, oh, this guy was racist, and this guy was drunk, and this guy was under the influence, this guy was driving, blah, blah. It's low lives. Out of 100 and how many 50 million riders exist on the platform, I'm sure there are a few million. Instead of booting them off, Uber drives or Lyft, boots the driver off, but then you'll have some protections. But this gentleman lost. Well, the appeal was upheld by Uber, and they won the appeal. And so it's not going to become a class action lawsuit, but we'll keep you guys posted. That's what Uber does, though, Chris. 4 years. Yeah. They tied it up, and then, how much money they spent defending that, God knows. That's what they do.
Well, it's definitely a call for dash cam. And Dario, you put here, will Uber ever review dash cam evidence?
Yes.
Yes, they will. And they've changed their process to be able to submit dash cam footage much better than it used to be. They would take dash cam footage, all the way back in 2018, 2019 as well too. And sometimes it was a hit or miss at that time, but they've kind of revamped the deactivation system when it came to that. So yes, you will be able to, and Display Ride will be able to send it to Uber, so then they can review the footage as well too. As well as be able to give you the evidence as well. And, if you have your own dash camera, or me, I have all of my rides backed up on the computer from when I first started through now. So you might not want to do that, but I have extra hard drive space. So if you want to be able to do that, then you can. And that way you keep every single ride there. In the event something happens and, it's a year goes by or something, who knows? Is it probably overkill? Yeah, absolutely. Do you probably need it 2 weeks? I would say probably about that, and then you'd be all right. But yes, they will use dash camera footage.
That's the advantage of Display Ride. You don't have to deal with
Rebecca,
SD cards, uploads, downloads, none of that stuff. It just uploads to the cloud automatically. You have all the footage that you want. God forbid you get in a crash or deactivated or whatever. They have all these things, lined up for you with the push of a button. You get the trips that you're interested in sending in to Uber or Lyft. And I mean, look, it's a must these days. Anyway, so so a couple of people had asked, how do we buy through? You don't buy through us, you buy through the Display Ride. We do have a deal. You get it for either 10 or 20 bucks a month. So I'll send you the information. Sergio at therideshareguy.com. Email me. So that's the first topic. And then I have two topics that I'm really looking forward to today, Chris. The rest, I'm not sure. But it's okay. Let's go to the next one. Rebecca is here. Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca is the CEO of Kid Kaboo. She was on the show before. Amazing CEO with an amazing company that she's building. Hello, Rebecca. So let's go.
Yeah, and congrats, Tim. We got that email a little while ago. So they're doing some good things at Kid Kaboo, it sounds like.
Rebecca, awesome. I still think CPUC is playing favorites over with Uber when it comes to California and Uber team, but we can talk about that, and Tim actually.
You know what I'm going to always say is follow the money. No matter what you do, follow the money, because money talks, bullshit walks. And if you're trying to get through red tape on things, just look at the money on somebody like Uber and what they're doing, where it's going, because I guarantee you there's probably a little bit of a money trail that's happening, and that's why there's a little discrepancy between CPUC and Uber and everything else. But I haven't looked into it far enough, so it's only speculation. But I'm always going to say follow the money trail, because there's always one, always going to lead to the real answers.
I'm a bulldog. I once I start nibbling at your ankles, it ain't gonna go away. So it's okay. There's a lot to work on, but it's okay. We'll squeeze that in there. So next.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about what happens if you're driving and then all of a sudden Uber and Lyft lock you out of driving mid-shift without warning.
Yeah.
That to me sounds like you're an employee. You're not an independent contractor at this point, and that's exactly what's happening in New York City. And there's shots fired between Uber and Lyft. I've highlighted this on X a couple of times, the way that they've been sending emails back and forth to their drivers, blaming one over the other. So it's getting a little crazy out there. But yeah, what's going on, Serge?
Man, I mean, look, man, they did this in 2019 when the TLC passed the minimum wage laws in New York, right? You had to have, you had to grab a shift, right, and to be able to log on. But I mean, look, I talk to Uber almost weekly. I am in touch with them about this subject, and I'm getting information. Obviously, they're feeding me what they want me to say, but I looked into it, obviously, listen to all sides of the story. First of all, the amount of new drivers that they put on the platform, especially with this latest EV push through their mayor's programs, right? You remember we talked about that, the mayor saying, oh, all cars in New York City are going to be EVs. I'm like, you said bullshit to it, obviously. It's like it's not going to happen.
And I said they're going to continue pushing it back and continuing.
Yeah, well, no, it's not going to happen. But what happened is that it increased, a lot of the driver count, the head count, because in New York City, there's a TLC. TLC is Taxi Limousine Commission. They set the rates. They put minimum wage laws. In New York City, drivers also do get paid for idle time, Chris. Okay? And what has happened is that, well, Uber and Lyft are not dummies, right? I mean, they don't want to pay drivers because they're sitting in their car watching Show Me the Money. You know what I'm saying? So what do they do? What they do now, they boot you off. They go like, oh, you can't log on, sir, until until demand picks up. And a lot of people mid-shift, without warning, right? Without warning, are getting, logged out. And they cannot log back in. That's a huge problem. And there's actually, so as you correctly stated, Uber and Lyft are throwing the ball back and forth to each other. Lyft goes, yeah, Uber is trying to change the laws to hurt us more. And Uber goes, we're doing fine. It's because of you that we have to log off our drivers because your utilization rate sucks. Mm-hmm. So the TLC, by the way, set up a utilization rate. Utilization rate, for you people who don't know our lingo, is P2 and P3. So that's active hour, okay, or utilized hour, or booked hour, or whatever you guys want to call it. All this new stuff. They set a 53% number for utilization rate. Well, Uber owns 75+% of the market in New York City, and their drivers are fine. But then Lyft drivers, because it's a combined utilization rate, Uber and Lyft, it's not like an individual number, right? So Lyft is not getting enough requests. That's sucking down the utilization rate down to 48, 47, 49%. Well, they have to get to 53, right, for everybody to be online at the same time. Well, if that doesn't happen, what happens? Automatically, they start logging people out to raise the utilization rate to 53%. But Lyft is saying, oh, Uber is playing games to hurt us. And Uber is saying, you guys suck. You're not getting enough trips. You know what I'm saying? And that's why our utilization is dropping too. That's why we have to log out drivers. See how it's happening here? See what's happening?
Thanks, Sabin. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Sabin. So this is what's been going on. But the drivers who committed to EVs, look, New York City is a completely different animal, by the way. That TLC rules there are completely different than any other city in the country. So Uber obviously doesn't want to pay for people to sit idle. And so they're logging people out mid-shift without warning. And you can't log back in. You need to schedule it. If you can get a schedule next time you're up. They're called lockouts. And a lot of drivers are also blaming Uber and Lyft, saying that they allowed way too many drivers. There was a cap of 80,000, right? The rideshare drivers. There was a cap in New York City. But what Uber and Lyft did is they were pushing EVs, and they allowed thousands more, few thousand more drivers to come on board. But you had to be just driving EVs. And a lot of people went and got their license in their EVs, and they added to the numbers, obviously, to the 80,000 number. And it's summer, maybe demand is not there. And their companies are not hitting the utilization rate of 53%, and they're just not going to pay people to sit and twiddle dum. And now the drivers are going, we're going to, strike and do this and do that. I mean, it's a tough situation. Seriously is. Whose side am I on? Obviously, I'm on the driver's side. You shouldn't. I mean, what kind of independent contractor am I if you're just not letting me go on? And I have spoken to Uber about this, and they said, "Look, man, it's not our fault. We have a 53% utilization rate. When we're below that, we have to create more trips for people, and that's the way that works. I mean, 53%, Chris, if you think about it, is not that high, right? And but they said, we have to put people out for us to raise our utilization rate to that level. And they said there's not much we can do. I mean, it's the TLC's fault, obviously. They don't like any regulation. And, Lyft is blaming Uber. Uber is blaming Lyft. And the game goes on. But who's getting hurt? The driver. The riders are not, because, when demand slows down, people are not able to get on. When demand is fully up and going, everybody is still able to get online and do what they need to do and make some money. But a few drivers were saying that, they usually run a 10-hour shift for 300 to 350. Now, because of this, they're down to 170 to 200. And in New York City, you have a lot of licensing fees, a lot of different things, a lot more expensive. Cars are mostly on fleets. They're renting it. I mean, look, it's a mess. It's a mess. Uber is definitely blaming Lyft. Lyft is blaming TLC. Both are blaming the TLC. So we'll see where it's going to go up. I mean, I don't see the resolution to this until demand comes back.
Well, here's a couple of things. Right in the article, it kind of spits it out right for you. So I like that. One of the big things is the TLC put out a certain regulation.
Yeah.
They should have been watching that, and it was managed pretty well for a while until it was not managed right. And so therefore you have to blame Uber on that, because as it says right there, it says Uber mismanaged hiring by allowing a surplus of drivers onto the platform, which you said with the EV situation, and is now punishing workers for it. So it's like, oh yeah, come on, get on the platform, you'll be good to go. And then all of a sudden, what do you think is going to happen? These drivers are going to go online. The utilization rate that is set forth by the TLC now is under par. And what are they going to have to do for it? So now drivers get screwed. So in this case, honestly, I blame Uber's mismanaging of that entirely. And if you are going to look at the person to blame, or the entity to blame, this one's on Uber. And Uber should have fixed that when it comes down to it.
No, I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, obviously. But Lyft is not doing well in New York City, right? So Lyft is also pulling Uber's numbers down, Uber's utilization numbers down. And
that's the other thing. They're two separate companies. They shouldn't be bumbled in together. That's one of the other things. So if you want, that's another aspect of it. But the thing is, you have to play within the game. The other thing is, if you're not hitting your numbers, well, maybe you should have tightened up the strings before instead of loosening it and creating the problem that we see now. The other side is, I mean, when I was in Chicago doing that test with the drivers, ping requests were coming in on Uber like back to back to back to back. When it was Lyft, I mean, we were going several minutes between ping requests coming in on Lyft. So Chicago is probably very similar when it comes to New York City, when it comes to the difference between Uber and Lyft. I mean, Lyft, you know what you got to do? Take out some billboard signs in the middle of Times Square, because there's all tourists right there. And more than likely, they're the ones who are going to need rides. And guess what? Now you're going to start getting more rides. You got to do a little bit of advertising out there in order to get the passengers to, oh yeah, I forgot. Because Uber is the household name. Uber is the Kleenex of rideshare. You want to change that, you got to get people to remember, oh yeah, there's Lyft. I forgot about that. So that's one of the things that needs to happen in order to be able to bring those numbers up and hopefully get more when it comes to the demand, so they can meet those thresholds. And then, you know what? You don't have to kick off the drivers, and they can stay on the platform, and they have a little bit more reliability when it comes to them trying to make and earn the money that they need to make.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, ultimately, driver gets hurt. That's the one that's getting hurt, and I feel for the drivers. I mean, it's a horrible situation, and it's expensive to drive rideshare in New York. You have so many more licenses. I mean, the rest of the country is in pure bliss when it comes to expenses, inspections and all these things you have to go through. Licensing in New York, it's expensive.
Yep. Oh
I
yeah,
mean, you're making
it's
more
quite
money,
crazy.
but it's also spending more money to drive. But then now they're getting
Honestly,
locked out is not a good thing.
honestly, if I was in New York City, I would probably become a bike delivery driver. I mean, it's a little unsafe because you're on a bike and, you know, it's quite crazy, but I mean, the reality is you're probably getting a little bit better of a shtick there when it comes to,
Yeah.
some of these expenses and stuff. At least you're controlling it a lot more. Um, so yeah, that's my opinion. I would have to try it out. I'm not really a fan of the delivery, but, you know, if you gotta do what you gotta do in order to make the money you need to make, well,
Yeah.
that's something you gotta look at. So,
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
anything
So
more to
Tobin,
say on
actually,
this
Tobin,
particular subject?
let me just put this up because he's in New York City. I mean, New York. No separate UR. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what Uber wishes because they know they have the upper hand, and I agree exactly. Because Uber is saying that, you know, we're fine. You know, our utilization rate is up. We're locking people out because of Lyft sucking
Looks
our
like they appreciate
utilization
it.
down. You know, thank you, Nikki. So that's what, you know, the blame game obviously continues. I haven't spoken to Lyft about this. Uber clearly said this to me before even the article, and they said, you know, I mean, we're doing fine. Our business is fine. You know, business is back to pre-pandemic level or higher, and where our UR is fine. But then ultimately they go, we're not going to pay people to sit there, you know. And that's the TLC. Part of the TLC is that you get paid for period one as well,
Mhm.
within that guarantee. So, you know, we as we know, nobody pays for period one in rideshare except New York City. But anyway, so we'll see where this ends up. Hopefully. Yeah, there. Sabin says Lyft started locking down today too. Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to pay anybody for doing no work. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. It's a very difficult situation.
Yeah. And just to address some of these comments that I see, yes, I'm tan. I went to the beach a couple of times. It was 90 degrees every day for the last week. So I took the kids and we enjoyed and had fun at the beach. So hey, that's what happens. You get tan and it's enjoyable. So just to put that out there. But I would love to get a convertible and drive that around. That would be awesome. Just
Oh, you
saying.
get more time. You get more time
I
then.
know, right? And then it also helps doing a 5-mile walk every day with both my dogs. So
Yes,
get
definitely.
to exercise for
Definitely.
them. So,
Definitely.
um,
Definitely.
but with that being said, let's move on to our next topic, and that is going to be talking about these illegal fake accounts that are going on, and some of the issues going on there, and you know some of the places that people are getting it.
Yeah, I got this email from a driver. Obviously, once in a while we'll put these up in a format that you know, it's easier this way because they do express themselves so well that I can't do any better job or justice to what they're saying. So I'll just copy and paste it in Google Docs and send it to Chris, and we put it in a slide and show it to you guys. So you know, this was like a very timely thing because it's also, you know, this subject, Chris, is taking hold on Twitter. By the way, people, our Twitter, me and Chris's Twitter account, I'm super active on Twitter now since my boycott started specifically. um Go on the link in the show notes. My Twitter and Chris's Twitter are there. You know, follow me, and then you would have caught all these breaking news yesterday and today.
Yep.
um
Well, shots
so
fired, everything.
Shots fired, a lot of shots for getting fired these days. We're gonna fire a lot of shots in July. I just can't wait until July. Right, right share and delivery stolen ID account problem. We've been talking about this for months now, maybe over a year now, right? That look, I'm not against immigration. I'm not against illegal immigration. I'm against
Okay.
illegal immigration. Period.
Okay.
If you want to, this is as political as I'm gonna get. Period. Done. So, with that said, we talked about it quite a bit that a lot of gang members, a lot of gangs in this country actually are abusing these immigrants by giving them fake accounts, creating fake accounts, and the consumer is not safe, and the companies are not doing anything about it, right? Now, that also adds to oversaturation, okay? And the people who justifiably got through a background check, did everything correctly, are not getting enough orders now or trips now because these illegals are doing all this bullshit, right? Okay. So this gentleman sent me this email. And if you're here, thank you for being so eloquent about it. So, not sure if you have spent any time on DW. DW stands for dark web. Here's an example of Walmart clone store. Okay. where all the illegal rideshare and food delivery drivers are getting their docs. Okay, so you literally can go to the dark web. And, we had this problem with our contributor, Gabe, in San Francisco. He had his ID stolen. And then, he got deactivated, actually. And I get a lot of emails these days. Serge, Uber, deactivated me saying that I have a duplicate account. Well, that's exactly why. Your ID is stolen, and then other people are grabbing your ID and opening new Uber accounts and doing trips with it, or Lyft trips with it, or DoorDash, or whatever it is, right? It is so easy these days to get these fake accounts or stolen accounts, stolen ID accounts. Literally, it's literally a few clicks away, a few $100s away. So all these illegals, that's what they're doing. They're coming in and they're finding these. I mean, these ads are all over. Can I say the social media names or no? No, because you said censoring. Okay, they're all on these major social media outlets. Okay, you literally can see the advertising that get an Uber Eats account, get a Lyft account, get a DoorDash account. I'm going like, that's what they're doing, and they're getting it. And look, they have no outlet. They're here illegally. They got to do something. They got to make some money to eat or whatever they got to do. The illegals, and they're doing it. Everything goes into a Bitcoin escrow account until each party gives the okay. So very easy to get a driver's license. Obviously, to get on board, we need a driver's license, and they're doing that. That is older than 1 year. To get on the Uber platform. As you know, Uber has a 1 year requirement, unlike Lyft, but Uber is flooded with illegal drivers. You'll need a VPN, virtual private network, with no logs, and the browser if you want to investigate yourself.
Now, hold on. I'm gonna interject right here. First of all, don't go on the dark web. If you're gonna need more than a VPN, no logs, and Tor browser. I would also highly, highly suggest getting a virtual machine and doing that just in case. And taking proper safeguards in the event that you're trying to do this, because there's a lot of crazy shit there. If you want to know more about it, go to the YouTube channel Some Ordinary Gamers, and Muda, he does these deep dives into the dark web and stuff like that. So if you want to see what it's a little bit more like without taking the risks that could be tracking you or could find your information and things like that, which they can do very easily without taking the proper precautions. Go on there and check out his deep dives. You'll see a lot more on it. I just want you guys to protect yourself, especially in the event, these are accounts that have been hacked and stolen, and it's very simple for you to get hacked or stolen as well. And this is just one way that you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, don't do it to start with. First of all, our audience is probably, all legally onboarded drivers. We're talking about what is happening in the country, and the companies are ignoring it. So he says, I spent a lot of time figuring this out. TripRadar has also been compromised with an Android clicker apps and physical clickers off Amazon. I mean, this driver knows what he's talking about. Well, why comfort trips radars disappear instantly? The Android software clicker is why I suspect Uber is now forcing overlays on Android phones, which we will talk about my boycott, after they shut down some third-party access to the platform. I'm really missing Maximo. Well, no, Maximo's still around if you have an Android. I think Gary's still here. And having that price per mile, which we know, we talked about transparency of Lyft. They're putting price per mile and dollars per hour on the ping screen now. I just want a fair platform where we can earn a respectable living. Exposing these app companies is important, since CPUC and rideshare companies in California are fine with fake drivers, illegals who don't pay any taxes, and will take lowball, no profit rides at or below the IRS deduction limits. I have talked to DoorDash execs in my car going to the office in San Francisco about fake documented drivers, and they seem to be well aware of it and want to do nothing. I agree. Hopefully some state politicians will watch SMTMC. Well, we do get watched a lot. We're circulating all over the place these days. And, what's happening in July is part of it, because somebody got a hold of a couple of our videos, and we're going to expose a lot more. But we're doing our best to expose these things. This is bad. This is bad for the consumer. This is bad for all of you who have onboarded these platforms legally. This is bad for the migrant. I'm talking the illegal immigrants who are here as migrants, you know, before they get their green cards or citizenships, they are under the rule of a lot of gangs who get these accounts and hand it to these people. They make them work 10-12 hour shifts, and they take bulk of the money that they're making. But to a Venezuelan migrant or a Ukrainian migrant who's here under very difficult circumstances, $50 a day is huge money to them, because they were making probably $50 a month in their own country. And look at these. These are some of the screenshots this gentleman sent me. These are all driver's licenses that you can go on the dark web, and it's for sale right there. And once you have that, that's all you have to do, upload. But these bad guys are doing all this work, getting the accounts ready, getting everything ready, and renting it out to you. And this needs to end. And companies are not doing anything about it. And here's some more. Look at these. Look at all these accounts: passports, accounts, driver's licenses, social security cards. This is in the dark web. This is happening, Uber. This is happening, Lyft. This is happening, DoorDash. This is happening. You guys, with all your technology, instead of squeezing the existing legally onboarded drivers some more, you need to take care of this until, well, we talked about it, Lincoln Riley. We talked about it 4 months ago. One of those assholes who are illegally in this country killed this 22-year-old nursing student. Okay? And it's happening every single day. New York City, it's happening every single day. And I can't just, I don't know what else to do other than reach out to legislators, reach out. And I know it's a huge problem in Texas, huge problem in New York City, huge problem in Florida. And unfortunately, these migrants are getting shipped by buses to different places and getting dumped somewhere. And look, they have to make a living. I understand, but it should not be this way. This is jeopardizing the safety of the consumer. And I have been witness to this myself. I order Uber Eats once in a while, and then it's a female is supposed to bring my food. A guy shows up. And this is not kosher. Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, rideshare. We need to end this. And you guys need, in your own cities, you guys need to get in touch with your local legislators. If you feel like your market's oversaturated, this is one of the reasons, people. So instead of complaining to us about it, and yet you're not making money, start talking to your legislators about these illegal accounts where these companies are not doing anything about it. So I'm going to keep talking about it. I know some people don't like me talking about these things, but I have a voice, and I'm going to get it out there. And this needs to end. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, Walmart, Spark, Instacart. This needs to end. You have the technology to nip this in the bud, but you are not doing anything about it.
Yep. No, I agree right there. And, it not only hurts the migrant who's working, but it also hurts everybody, because we talked about that pie. And, there's 7 million slices of pie that are happening right now. So yeah, this is something that it hurts everybody, because it's going to become oversaturated. It's going to become bigger issued. And, it's something that these apps really need to take under control and get under control before it becomes an even bigger problem. And, it's only a matter of time. It's not a matter of when. It's only a matter of time, because it's going to happen when safety comes into account. And yeah, you're going to piss off the wrong legislators, and they're going to come down much harder than what should be when it comes to just nipping in the butt now and not having to worry about something that could be even worse tenfold down the road. So yeah, it's definitely something that needs to end.
Yeah. We're going to keep talking about it. I mean, every few shows we talk about it, we're going to keep talking
Rebecca's
about
right. It's possible. And I mean, she's walking proof when it comes to Kid Kaboo, because of the entirety of what they have to do when it comes to the background checks and the interview process for drivers to even get onto Kid Kaboo, versus something where Uber and Lyft is just simple, where you upload a couple of documents and you wait a couple of days and boom, you're online.
Yep. So anyway, but yeah, we'll keep talking about this.
Tom, no, we can't adjust the ticker because that is done through StreamYard. So if you're watching on TV, we're sorry about that. It's just the way the resolutions are. You might be able to change the resolution on your screen. So if you have something like wide or cinematic or something like that, you could change it where it's going to be like fit, or something where it'll actually fit onto the monitor.
Tom, don't change
sometimes
anything. If it's making me look skinny, don't change anything.
well,
Don't worry about
I mean,
the ticket, bro.
it changes it just by a little bit. It's just the
Okay,
ratio. So,
fine.
I
Make
mean,
me look
we're in a
fatter
16:9 ratio. So if your TV is like stretch or something like that or wide, it's actually going to stretch it further out. So you could try getting it back on there.
Absolutely. So that's the CEO of Kid Kabu, and she knows, and her business is giving trips to kids and teenagers. Okay, and we'll have her on shortly, probably next couple of months, to get an update about it. But there is a way. There is a way to do this better. There is a way to do this like Massachusetts. There is a way. Why do we not talk about oversaturation in Massachusetts? Every driver, top market in the country for a couple of years, because they have dual background checks, they have dual car inspections, they have all these safeguards. Why not all the states do it? I don't know. This could easily be nipped in the bud. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shit.
That's hilarious.
Well, I don't know if I can get bigger, buddy. I'm wearing black shirt. I was going to change my background, but then, whatever. Hey, man, when you see me
Thanks,
one day, I'm
Tom.
not as big as you think I am.
I am a 90s boy band growing up.
There. I like Tom. Right there. Comment of the day. Thank you.
All right. Well,
Tom, much love, buddy. All right, so
let's move on.
one.
We have another topic that we're going to be talking about. First off, it is talking about we have on Thursday Behind the Wheel, and actually next Thursday's Behind the Wheel, a couple of more in-depth things on Play Octopus from two drivers who are using it. One driver has been using it for 3 years. The other driver has been using it almost 8 months, as long as they've been driving. So those are the behind the wheels, plus a lot more. Great behind the wheels coming up. Some of the best, I think, that Sergio's put out recently.
Thank you, sir.
In terms of every time you get more refined on the topics and what you're talking about. So every time is an improvement. Not that, going back and talking to some of the other people that have been on Behind the Wheel, they've done very well, but you're refining the interview process. So you were like a baby Joe Rogan, and now you're kind of like a mid Joe Rogan. And soon you're going to be the Joe Rogan of the Behind the Wheel.
Joe Rogan.
Very soon.
And
so
if I was Joe Rogan's jockstrap, I'd be doing fine. Just I can say. But anyway, so thank you, everybody.
What we did a segment last week talking about Play Octopus and tablet, and talking about how you can use that to make more money driving. And people were chiming in saying, yeah, you can make anywhere from $25 to $100 depending on how often you're driving. So if you're driving less, obviously it's going to be a little less. If you're driving more, it's going to be a little bit more. And one of the things that drove me kind of funny wild was the comments. It says, oh, I don't want to listen to advertisements. And I'm thinking every single time I read that, I'm like, first of all, you probably have the radio playing in your car, right? Whether it's Pandora, Spotify, or you have your actual radio, whatever FM or AM stations you may have. You do realize that every single time that you're listening to the radio or Pandora, unless you actually pay for the subscription service, you're listening to ads. Why wouldn't you just take that money and funnel a little bit into your pocket versus not?
I mean, you know what? When there are free things that can make you money, and people still complain about that,
it's like, dude, you got
I don't know what else.
I mean, look, hey, if you don't want to use a Play Octopus tablet, I get it, fine, but you don't have to. But like your rationale and reasoning, it's kind of backwards. Just saying. I'm not trying to like insult anybody, but it is definitely backwards because you're listening to advertisements on the radio, no matter what's playing. Why don't you just siphon a little bit into your pocket? I don't care if it's $25, $50, $75 extra a month. It's still extra money that's coming in. And when things are a little bit tighter, meaning there's less rides because let's face it, the summer slowdown is here. And kids are out of school and teachers are out of school and everything's kind of slowed down because there's events going on, things like that. And less, well, you want to try to do what you can in order to make money. We've talked about Play Octopus being a great opportunity, selling things in your vehicle at this point. What do we got?
I average 50 to 75 bucks.
$75 extra a month. extra a month. I mean, that's a tank of gas.
That's $600 to $1,000 a year. That's at least a set of tires and few oil changes. I mean, if you guys want to think about it, that's the way you think about it. Okay. So all I know is Robert is here. I think he's here. Anyway, so look, if you don't want it, don't do it. But don't complain about free shit. Like, you know, I talk about Upside. Like, I love Upside. Every time I buy gas, I use Upside. People go, oh, Upside is shit. I'm like, it's free money. It's like,
yeah. And you're using my favorite is, oh, they use it at gas station. Well, you know, you can go to different gas stations around. The whole point of the app is like, as you're driving, you're going to be in all different parts of the area. So we all know that different parts of the city have different prices of gas, and you want to get gas where it's the cheaper part and cheaper area. And, you know, look at Upside there, same thing.
There's the guy. There's the guy that I did the behind the wheel with. Like, look what it says. Helps me pay my credit card fees on private rights. There you go. Boom.
There you go. Yeah. And so he's taking one expense, or he's taking one revenue source to pay an expense. Makes sense.
Anyway, but so we talked about it last week, right? Okay, so Uber and Octopus. Actually, we talked about it. I'm not going to give it away, but Robert was very eloquent about Octopus, and so Octopus was bought by T-Mobile. So now Uber is in bed with T-Mobile via Octopus, right? So he was, you know, we're hoping that Uber doesn't muck it up. That's all we're hoping for, because Octopus was great. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when Uber gets involved,
that's where I go to, is the res. It's under $3 right now. Okay. Fantastic. But yeah, I mean, and then another comment says, Chris, do you really think that Uber is going to pay more? Look, here's the thing. If you're getting more advertising because you have more potential advertisers, that means the rates will go up. That means there's going to be more advertisements. And yeah, Sergio has said this before, a rising tide lifts all boats. So if you don't, I mean, if you're a first order thinker, and I know a lot of people are, they look at a cube and they see a square. So like, you look at this box, you don't see a box, you see a square. I get it. Some people are first order thinkers. If you are in that realm, you know, it is what it is. But the reality is, yeah, if you can look at more complications when it comes down to it, like the partnership, we hope they don't muck it up. I don't think they will. It's a partnership. So Uber is trying to get into the advertising game because they can make more money that way. We all know that. Advertising is huge. Data collection. They collect a lot of data. Yeah. And the reality is, like I say, if you have a larger presence, you have more opportunities to advertise. Let's just look at YouTube, Rumble, and X, and what's the other one? YouTube, Rumble, X, Kick, Twitch. Some of these ones, YouTube is the biggest. Rumble is much smaller. X is trying to grow. There's a lot of things there. Facebook, the other things. So those types of things are when you have a larger presence in larger companies, you have other companies that have advertising wings and departments that can go out and, you know, get more. So yes, you can potentially make more because you are going to be able to bid on prices. The bid could go up, or there's just going to be more in the pot. So yes, you could potentially make more. So if you're making $25 now, you might make $35. And again, it's free money.
Yeah. Well, never say no to free money. My thing is, in the announcement with Uber and Octopus and T-Mobile, there were no details as usual. They're always vague. I'm actually hoping that the incomes will go higher because the advertising is going to be more targeted. You know, they may go higher. The incomes may go higher of drivers. So, I mean, in this day and age where there's no incentives and things are tight, you know, 50, 80, $100, $25, whatever it is, it's fine. I'll take it. And anyway, so you want to use it, use it. You don't want to use it, fine.
Yeah, if you're interested in Play Octopus, and, you know, like I say, earning a little bit more money while you're driving, then here's the link. I'll put it in the chat. You can check it out. And with that being said, they're also doing a little special, I think, right now where you're still doing it. I'm not sure how much longer, when you sign up, they'll give you $25 to start. So not only is it free, but you're actually getting paid for it on the top. So, I mean, it only makes sense. And the haters can hate. Go ahead. It is what it is.
Whatever.
But you know,
My
when
full
you're
day.
trying to make extra money and do extra things, you have to think outside the box. And in my opinion, and I don't know if Sergio shares the same opinion or very close to it, but in my opinion, you got to do what you got to do. And if it's outside the box thinking, it's outside the box. Play Octopus is one of those things that can just help you earn a little bit more money.
Yep.
And then you couple it with some more things on top of it. And maybe you're making an extra $250 doing different things. So you got to be smart and think outside the box to become more profitable.
Watch Behind the
especially right
Wheel,
now.
okay? Watch Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 Eastern. Behind the Wheel is going to be released, and we're going to, in detail, talk about it and how this driver uses it. You know, many different ways. And so anyway, don't ever say no to free money. So yeah, there you go.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
Thing I've always heard. If somebody asks or says that they want to take you to dinner, always accept the dinner. Never pass up a free meal.
Free dinner, free money. Free is good. I'll take it.
Free, yeah.
Free is good. Free. Free is good. Anyway, so let's go to okay, this is about okay, it's about to get spicy. So
Well, let's go on and talk about Uber's boycott of, or I'm sorry, Sergio's boycott of Uber currently because of an app update that's wanting certain phone permissions on his Android. And he made a video on this and talked about this extensively over on X. So make sure you're following over there.
so this is where I
day by
go.
day.
Yeah, day by day, every day I'm on tweet until it's fixed. And it's getting good traction. You know who's retweeting these? Our good friend Enshitification Dr. Cory Doctorow, right? It's getting like 12, 15, 18,000 impressions. You know what I'm saying? But here's the deal. Look, I'm gonna put I laid my case down on this subject many times. I've actually spoken to Uber about this, and hopefully cooler heads are gonna prevail. And it's going to end. And on this segment is where I go over the over/under 12 cursing part. So whoever was that, you're going to win that bet. So Uber, what the F? Week ago, you know, I get an update, app update. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm on manual updates. I do not allow any apps to automatically update. Okay. I have an Android. I've always been on an Android. I like it, because I found a get around this shit show over here. So Uber, you know, I turn the app on. I'm gonna go some trips, and I see this. It says, go online one result. So when I see this, Chris, most of the time there is what? There is an TOS update. That's what I thought. That's exactly automatically. That's what I thought. I go, okay, whatever. Then I read the bottom. It says turn on overlay permissions for, you know, Uber. I'm like, hold on. I'm not going to do that. It's my phone, Uber, personal phone. Okay. But let's just let it slide. So I have it set up on my Android for years that I do not give Uber the override or overlay permission, because it gives permission on all other apps, not just the competitor DoorDash, because I'm multi-app. Okay. DoorDash, you know, Lyft, Uber Eats, all this stuff. So I get the anti-competitive thing here. Number two is the privacy thing here. Number three, I am not going to give you control of my phone, Uber, just because you want to be the one. However, I had my phone set up in a way that I do not give you overlay or override permission over other apps, but I have a picture-in-picture window that pops up way on top of my screen, phone screen. I have a Samsung S23 Ultra. It pops up, and if I'm interested in that offer, I'll click on it, and then it'll give me the screen. But what Uber wants me to do is, Uber wants me to say, have permission, Uber, so you can pop up in front of anything and everything that you're doing. I could be texting, or I could be watching YouTube, or I could be doing whatever. I could be on Lyft, which you guys are going to see the screenshots. Uber just wants to pop up first. They want control. I'm going like, screw you, Uber. I said boycott day number 1, and then this thing is getting traction now. Today is day 8. Right after the show, I am going to retweet my day 8 boycott. Uber, fix it. This is going to go on and on and on. It's gaining traction, I'm telling you. Some of you may say, what's the big deal, Serge? Okay, here's the big deal. I explained this to Uber. Actually, I think the tech bros, I think, understood. You know, Chris, the old days, the whole ping screen was sensitive to the touch that you could accept trips by mistake, right? And then what happens? You have to cancel, right? Okay. And then it hurts the rider because it got canceled. It hurts me as a driver because my cancellation rate goes up. I said, Uber actually did a good thing. They copied Lyft and moved the accept label to where? All the way to the bottom with the blue label, right? Right? Okay. So next screenshot, you guys will see what happened. So now I was on Lyft. I could be on Lyft. And then Uber wants this. Half my screen is covered. This is literally my screen, the one in the middle. Or I could be texting. Where's my keyboard, Uber? Right at the bottom. I could be texting, and your trip pops up. Look where the accept button is, Uber. Click. I accept. Now here we go again. We start all over again, right? So what I want, Uber, is just like all the other functionalities, you give the driver the choice. Well, I'm not your employee. This is not your phone. It's my phone, private phone. I am not going to give you control, and you're not going to allow me to go online and make money. So we're in a kind of a Mexican standoff here. You cannot do this. So what do? Every single day, I tweet this. And here's my day 6 of my personal boycott of Uber. I will not give Uber override permission over all other apps. I've discovered more evidence that I was lied to. And because were told me at some point, like, oh, it's like a small pilot. I'm like, bullshit. Then I discovered that this has been going on in Florida. This has been going on. I saw it on Reddit pages year and a half ago. So what do I do now? This is what I want. Uber, I just want to go back to the way it was. I am not missing any orders. Okay. I'm not, if you get the message. If I am not letting you override, that means you have no business. Maybe I don't want to look at your crappy offers. Chris, put that one back on again so people understand what I'm trying to do, the last one. And here you go. I tagged DK, FTC, U.S. Department of Labor, all the journalists I know, the FTC, the California CPUC, governor, whoever it is. Every day they get tagged. Every single day. And somebody's going to pay attention to this. So what's going to happen is I found a get around, and I did a video. It's on the channel. I'm not going to get into it. Plus, I have 2 phones, right? However, Uber, you have no right to take a hold of my phone or not allow me to go online and make money, period. Yeah. Before, different story. Everything was fine until this last app update about 7 days ago. So, boycott continues. Please support me in this boycott. Well, please, because I know you support me on this one. I know you do.
I concur on 99.8% of your boycott.
That's enough.
The 0.2% though is where I want to draw a distinction, and I'm glad Gary's in here because he might be able to answer because he's good with the apps. And this goes back to our other topic where that one was talking about the illegal accounts and the overlay. Now, I am completely against Uber, Lyft, any app for that matter. It doesn't matter if it's rideshare. It doesn't matter if it's any other app, Facebook, X, whatever it might be. They do not get permissions to your phone, especially the ones who are dealing with data and brokering your data and all of that stuff. If I ain't seeing a dime, you ain't getting shit. Now, I'm glad iPhones have, a lot of stronghold in place, but I'm also against iPhones having a lot of stronghold in place for particular reasons as well. But you can't have the best of both worlds. It's kind of like pro-con. Now, I do want to know, and Gary, please answer this if you know, would Uber be doing this not necessarily nefariously, but because of these app clickers that are going on. Is there a reason? Because those have to overlay on top of the apps, as far as I know. I don't have an Android, I have an iPhone. So if this is something where they're trying to circumvent those types of things by doing that, I think they should come out and honestly say that is what it is for. And Gary, I know you probably may have the idea on this. Is there a reason, or would that help fend off these overlay app clickers that would prevent people from using these clickers to be able to steal rides, essentially, from TripRadar or anything like that when it comes to this?
With
So
this,
please,
by the way,
because
Chris,
that's okay. There's no reason to do this
I get
except
it, and
for
I
web
appreciate your
drivers
support.
accidentally.
You know, I get it. I appreciate your support. See, there's
Yep.
Gary right there. Let's put that up. Gary's the tech guy. There's no reason to do this except to have drivers accidentally accept offers. Thank you, Gary. And Gary actually gave me the runaround too, not get around, not run around. And you know, there are get arounds. I mean, I did it. I did the video. You guys go watch it. It's easy. So all you have to do is just give him the permission, log in, right? And then they allow you to log on, right? And then you go back into your settings and then get rid of the permission. As long as the Uber app is there, right? It doesn't override. But then I have to do it every single time. And you know what I do? The way I drive is I go last request almost every time, right? And then the app turns off, I have to do it again. I have to do it again. There is zero reason for this, Uber. And I know this is not a Google or an Android problem, because there was no software update on their end. There was no
No,
update on Android.
That's built into the app itself.
The what?
Like if it's coming up on the app, like on the screen where it says there's a problem you need to rectify before going online, that's built into the Uber app itself.
Exactly.
So that's it's just that
we
Google
talked about
and
this
Android
yesterday. Yesterday we talked about this with Uber. I talked about I don't know, whoever it is. I'm not going to give names, but I explained this to them that it's bad for me, it's bad for the customer, because I'm going to accidentally accept. Plus, they said to me, Serge, this is not a bad thing. We want you to see all the offers. I was seeing all the offers with my picture-in-picture window.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And on iPhone, you get the little notifications. You know what you should do? Go on, get a tablet, and you can open up multiple applications on at the same time. And then that way, hey, you got Uber over here, Lyft over here, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I absolutely. So some people said, go get a iPhone. I'm like, no, I like Android. Here's another get around. Android will go, yeah, exactly. Uber, it's on purpose. Now, here's another get around, people. If you are running into this problem, I have two get arounds. One is the one I explained on the video. The other one, the reason I have Android is because I can go download older versions of the app from the APK store. Uber, we have brains here. I could do that, but this I want to make a point of that. I could download the version of Uber's app, I don't know, from 2 weeks ago, and then I will not have this problem, right? Until you fix it. But I don't want to do any of this. And what my point on all of this, Chris, is the overreach. Enough is enough. That's it. You have control me, and then we're going to talk about this on the next topic now, how much more control is coming.
I want to be able to drive on Uber, Lyft, and any other platform that may be in my area. Rebecca, if you're still here, get Kid Kaboo in upstate New York. You don't need to go to New York City, upstate New York.
Yeah.
I already have the car seats. I have 2 kids, so a third on the way. So
why don't you have this problem? iOS doesn't allow third-party apps to get control. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah. So
like iOS is unique within itself because like each app is like in its own little sandbox. So you can't do that, and it's a limitation that Apple puts on iPhones. So there's a lot more that's under its control. And again, like I say, if you want the free reign, I mean, Android is much better, but it also comes with these issues and these problems. So there's a lot of pros and cons on which one you should select. Honestly, worst case, just go with a tablet, put it on its side, open up both platforms, and you'll be a little bit easier.
Well, my thing is, I was told that this is a small pilot. It's not a small pilot. It's been happening for a long time, and I got a screenshot from Miami from another driver who updated and ran into the same problem. You can't log on unless you give him permission. Look, Uber, listen, if you're really that interested in controlling my phone, okay, just like 12 years ago, give me a phone with just the Uber app on it. Just like the first day, the old days. No problem. I'll put it up there on my phone holder, and then you'll just have your own little corner there. No problem. But you are not going to get a hold of my private phone. I'm not going to give you the permission, and I'm going to keep tweeting it. I'm going to keep tagging all those people, and some of them are listening already, and I know you're listening. So you have 33,000 employees. You did this on the last update. Fixed it. I just want a choice. Give drivers the choice, just like you give with all other functionalities. Okay, like Uber Teen. I have it logged off, toggled off. Give me the choice. Maybe some drivers like to see all the crappy offers. They will allow the override. I will not allow the override. Just give us the choice. That's all I'm saying. Put a little toggle on, toggle off.
I like how on certain updates it'll toggle it back on.
Oh yeah, automatically. But no, this started with the update. So we can let's work on this and fix this.
If like when I go on vacation, I haven't driven in a while. This hasn't happened in a while, but like before, like a couple of years ago when Uber Eats was just starting to come into our area, you know, I would take Uber Eats because hell, they were paying hell bonuses. They like $2, $3, $4 per delivery on top of the order. So it was like, okay, this ain't too bad. But you know, I got to a point where I'm like, I just don't want to take McDonald's orders because taking McDonald's orders sucks and it's annoying. So I would just I would toggle it off, and then I'd go on vacation for a week or something, come back, and then all of a sudden it's like you're getting an Uber Eats request. I'm like, no, turn off. And then all of a sudden you go into the preferences and it's toggle back on. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, so yeah.
Let's move on because we want to set more time. Your boycott will go on for probably like 2 more weeks before anything happens. So
I don't know.
we can do updates there. But let's get into the bigger topic, and that's what's happening over the last couple of days when it comes to all these emails that are coming in, standard, advantage, what's going on there, what that means. So let's take a look at all of this and break it down for you.
Yeah, I know. So you guys are going to see this in certain cities. It's not in California yet, and I don't think it will be because of Prop 22 anyway. So you already know what I'm going to say about this. I'm going to do the article today. You guys can read the article with all these separate screenshots from this situation. So my phone went off yesterday, going crazy, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I know something is going on, and I'm getting these 2 screenshots, right? Serge, what is this? I have no idea. What do you guys think? I don't work for Uber. I have no clue what the heck this is. It's like they go, driving mode changed to standard or advantage. So standard, as you can see, the colorification, gamification, what is that? It's like a shit color. Do you see that, Chris? It's like a shit color. And advantage is green.
It looks like baby poo. It
looks like baby poop versus money. Green. Yeah. You guys are the behavioral scientists at Uber. You guys are doing a good job. Now change the gray clouds to some other colors, buddy. You know what I mean? But anyway, it says receiving most trip requests through Trip Radar. I did a video, 52,000 views 2 months ago. In LA, when I turn my app on, well, not that I can't turn my app on now because I'm not going to give them the override, but I was getting everything through Trip Radar, and I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm not getting any requests, you know? And I did a video, and I had a kind of inclination about this anyway, because as a veteran driver, you kind of feel things, right? Receiving most trips through Trip Radar and missing out on earning 5% more on most trips. I'm going like, 5% more. Okay, whatever. So I was like kind of interested. And then on the right one, it says, you're getting more exclusive trip requests and 5%, possibly 5% advantage bonus on selected trips. Select. So it's only on UberX. It's not on higher end. So let's go to the next screenshot. This was sent to me by drivers. And then I tweeted it. and then, you know, I got messaged by you know, by Uber saying that they go, oh shit, this was not supposed to go out. I'm like, well, it's out in the wild. Sorry. And then they go,
we're gonna break it down.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know, hey man, you know, you have all these employees over there. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, fire the guy who put this out there. And he goes, "Thank you for waiting." So this driver asked the support chat. I mean, this was like released all the way through support. This is before Uber's blog released today, and
Yeah, and it's not supposed to be out for a
as
little
be
while,
up until
actually.
July.
July.
So it says, you know, and then the support chat, the bot, I'm sure already knew about this, right? Because they had the answers ready. And he goes, "Thank you for waiting to address high rider spinner times." You have a
That's a
new,
new term.
we have a new one. We have AR, acceptance rate. We have CR, cancellation rate. Now we have spinner rate. Spinner. What does that mean? Spinner times, and how driver acceptance rate.
The
So
DJ.
I thought spinners were only at, you know, where, but anyway, so it's like,
I think of a
so,
DJ spinning some records.
yeah, spinner, and then it gave the details to this driver. So it said you have to have an acceptance rate of 25%, you have more than 25, over 25%, cancellation rate less than 8%, and driver rating of 485. I mean, like, you know, the first two are reasonably doable. It's over 485. I mean, it should be if you're a decent driver. And then
Yep.
And then Uber got a hold of the tweet and said, "Oh shit, this was not supposed to go out." And, you know, appreciate it. You know who you are. They sent me the blog link, and I tweeted that out too. You know, and Chris is gonna do a fine job going through the details of that.
But you skipped over one very important little detail here. You need the acceptance rate, the cancellation rate, and the driver rating all to be within the thresholds. But you're also going to need your driver safety score at a certain score that's going to start impacting tiering on 9/2.
Yeah, that's
September.
Starting September 2nd.
It doesn't matter. They're still putting the driving score, and they're actually making it partial reason for. And
well, that's going to be an additional. That's going to be an additional requirement to get it to the advantage part. Starting September 2nd. Yep. So you read the important parts from the Uber blog. This is all under my Twitter. Please go check my Twitter account at Sergio at SERGIOAVED. It's there. And then this is the blog that Uber put out. Thank you. You know who you are. Much appreciated. This is all the details you guys want to know about advantage mode or standard mode. Are you a standard driver or an advantage driver? And then I will put my 2 cents in after Chris reads it.
All right. So yes, if you want to go check this out, it's uber.com/blog/advantage-mode. And you can do this. So yes, this is coming soon. So reliable trips keep riders coming back. You know, for anybody who's on X, when they complain about something, I always like pretend I'm chat support and saying thank you, or you know, riders use our service for to be whatever it might be, and like whatever I'm thinking at the time. So it's kind of fun when people are complaining, because that's what I put in. I pretend I'm chat support. Right. So again, if you follow for that, you'll get a good laugh out of it. But they must be reading my tweets as well back, because that's things I put in. So reliable trips keep riders coming back to the Uber app. Beginning next month, we're piloting Advantage Mode, a new program in select markets to offer higher earnings and more exclusive ride requests to highly rated drivers who accept them more often, cancel less, and get riders where they need to go safely. This program will gradually roll out between the following dates in these select cities. So July 8th through 11th is Sarasota. July 11th through the 15th is Austin, Charlotte, Columbus, Kansas City, both in Kansas and Missouri, Miami, Nashville, Phoenix, and Tampa. And we're going to let you know before the program launches in your market, although somebody slipped and it launched in some places yesterday, even though you couldn't get any more details on it. But yeah, Advantage Mode versus Standard Mode. First, we're sharing a preview of the new pilot program that tests updates how drivers in select markets will receive it. We've already talked about the things. So a driver in Advantage Mode will receive more exclusive ride requests. So that's the more pings sent directly to them, and earn 5% more on UberX and other non-premium type rides. They would be in Standard Mode. When this pilot begins, eligibility for Advantage Mode will be based on their acceptance rate, cancellation rate, star rating, and eventually their CMT driving score. So we've already talked about what that is. And just to let you know, the CMT driving score of 75 or more, because that wasn't in the text. So you need the 25% or more acceptance rate, a cancellation rate of 8% or less, star rating of at least 4.85 or greater, and then the CMT driving score of 75 or more. We
Yeah.
all know why they're doing that because of commercial insurance, and
Okay.
basically
CMT, by the
CMT
way,
is going to basic.
CMT, by the way, stands for Cambridge Telematics. And I met these people actually at Curb before this year. They told me about this. And you go ahead, finish this, and then I'll give Uber my 2 cents about what's happening here. So anyway.
Yep. So basically, I mean, I don't know how much more to say on that. You're still getting on advantage mode. It's just basically meaning we're going to ping you more with ride requests, and if you're in standard mode, you're going to get more trip radar requests. So if you hate that little ping from trip radar, good luck on that, especially if you have a low acceptance rate. And it's something that's going to be automatically done depending on your particulars. But driving
Yeah.
insights. So in mid-July, drivers in pilot markets are going to see a dashboard that provides insights and score based on their driving while riders are in the car, which we've actually highlighted already on the show with Sergio. You had this little thing going on in your app, but it's going to give you a breakdown so you can see on this side. It's going to use your driver's phone sensor data to generate insights and a score based on their driving, including speeding, hard braking, harsh acceleration, sharp turning, and phone handling.
Okay.
And it's going to give you all of these little things. So, are you speeding? Are you harsh accelerating and braking? Where you're doing good, where you're not. And then here's a little competition. So they're watching because we talk about solo and how it does the competition there. It says your score is better than 30% of drivers in Nashville. So they're going to make it like a game, and they're going to gamify it.
Fucking do. Anyway, so get ready for this. This is the CMT part. September 2nd, it's going to be an additional requirement. And of course, I tweeted this to people, so you can go to my Twitter. Always read the small print. This is only for UberX, not for higher premium, for the 5% more. Here's my 2 cents. Okay, the CMT, you know what's happening there. The CMT, Cambridge Telematics, driving score. What does that remind you of, Chris?
The one from Lyft.
See what I mean? That's why we're on the same page. And how accurate is Lyft's been so far?
Not that great.
Yeah, okay. Uber. I hope CMT is better than whoever Lyft is using. Okay, because you're getting all that information from our gyroscope. My driving score was
pretty
horrible.
sure they're using CMT also. Pretty sure.
And I talked to these CMT people. They seem like reasonable people. Collecting the data from my gyroscope on my phone. Some people may have older phones. Some people's may not function as well. Half the time, Uber, with my brand new Samsung S23 Ultra, Lyft was accusing me of my phone not being on the holder. I have never taken my phone off the holder, Uber. So if CMT is doing this and you're going to require a 75% driving score, I'm going to fail. Sorry.
So this is my take on this. This is, yes, behavior modification, trying to do that. So one, they're trying to gamify it on a couple of different levels. They're trying to the baby poop green, yellowish for standard, and then the green for advantage could actually entice people just right there because you're seeing who wants to be baby poop. And then essentially this is because of low acceptance rates. And so they're trying to get you to accept more. But come on, Uber, 5% more. I could piss 5% more.
It ain't gonna move the needle on my $3 minimum fare trips, which is 15 cents extra, Uber, with no incentives. It ain't gonna move that needle for me to become an ant. Number one. Number
not
two.
Only that, what if, we've talked about everything that they've shaved. Everything was fair game for shaving. Why would 5% more be? I mean, are you going to show me like here's the rate plus 5% and actually put the 5% advantage bonus in there? Yeah. But either way, yeah,
with the base fare shaving, right? Yeah, of course, yeah, and of course.
It comes down to behavior modification and trying to do that.
Bro.
And then this is what I said back when we were talking about that CMT score. Before I said it's only a matter of time before they implement that by giving riders with higher CMT scores more rides. And that right there shows that they're not going to give people who are driving stupidly. So here's the thing. If you drive like a fucking moron, fix your driving so you can get more rides. I agree. If you are driving bad, you need to fix your driving. It's just the way it is.
Oh, that one I'm
And,
fine as long as it's accurate. I'm fine with that CMT
as
thing.
long as it's accurate, yes. But I said, and that's exactly what is happening. They are going to give higher CMT score drivers more rides, and they're going to probably give them better rides because it's going to help in the long run when it comes to commercial insurance. So Uber can get a better deal on commercial insurance. Will drivers see any benefit from that, or are they going to keep that pocket for themselves?
I mean,
I
the
don't
external
know.
expenses.
Jury's still out on that, but would I see $1.12 per mile given to commercial insurance and 58 cents given to drivers? There's something wrong there.
Yeah. So let's finish this segment by going back about a year and a half, maybe. Well, now, because Dara Khosrowshahi is not gracing us with his presence. He's giving us the cold shoulder. It's okay. It's okay, Dara. It's all right. Sir,
I think
you
he's
were.
Well, honestly,
at this point, I think at this point I have nothing to lose here. I have nothing to lose, so it's okay. So, sir, with all due respect, you were interviewed by Harry Campbell, the founder of the Rideshare Guy. It's public record, sir. It's public record. The video is on our channel. You said that if drivers are not accepting trips, it's on us. Clear as day. I remember it like today because I paid attention to CEO talk. Then you said, but give us some time for the algorithms to learn. They have learned. They have learned to screw the driver. I'm saying I'm getting sent $3 and less offers in LA to put a human in my car in 2024. If you think this 5% is going to sway me to become an advantage driver. Oh, by the way, people, this advantage driving thing is a daily metric, which goes back to your last 100 trips. Last week, we were kind of puzzled. Why are they changing the acceptance rate to 100 from 200 now? Remember, Chris? It was because of this. It was all hooked up. It's all settled. It's all set up, bro. But anyway, so you have to have every day at 4:30 a.m., just like a quest, your matrix for that day, looking at the 100 trips, from the last 100 trips is going to be given to you. So your AR for that day is above 25%, your CR is less than 8%, and your driver rating is 485 and over, then automatically you qualify to be an advantage driver. It's not a guarantee, by the way. It says on select trips, possibly you may get 5% more. Not a goddamn chance on the planet that's going to sway me to accept more trips. First of all, my acceptance rate, I think, is probably about over 25%. Actually, those matrix, Chris, they're not too hard to reach. But going back to finishing this segment, sir, Mr. Khosrowshahi, you said that this is actually a victory for drivers that you're doing this. The first sentence on your blog says, Uber likes riders coming back for more. Do you know why they're not coming back for more? Because your service quality on your cars, on your drivers, is collapsing. Every Uber car I've been into, some of them don't even know how to read GPS because of this burn and churn mentality you guys have, right? This 5% is not going to sway me to do anything else. Your algorithm is not learning. It's not learning. And I'm just saying that this kind of proves that drivers have learned from Show Me the Money. Drivers are declining trips by the bundles. And Uber is forced to take this kind of action. And here's my question to 500 of you. I don't know how many of you are here. How does this make me an independent contractor? There it is. There it is.
Hold on.
There you go.
Matching the price that you're going to get paid. That's ultimately where we want to go. We're not going to be like this. This is going to take some experimentation. There's some deep tech that goes into it, and there's some optimization, because actually the signal that we want from you, Harry, is like, if you're not accepting a trip, then we're underpricing it. Then we gotta correct. Then the algos have to understand it.
I mean, look at this. Look at me. Look at this.
Right there. I'll put it again.
I love you, partner.
price that you're going to get paid. That's ultimately where we want to go. We're not going to be like this. This is going to take some experimentation. There's some deep tech that goes into it, and there's some optimization, because actually the signal that we want from you, Harry, is like, if you're not accepting a trip, then we're underpricing it.
Right there. If you're not accepting a trip, then we're underpricing it. Right there.
Yeah. And he did say previous to this, because you're not accepting it on us. All I'm saying to you, Mr. Khosrowshahi, is all these bells and whistles that you guys are trying to do, right? It's not going to work. Drivers are learning, and they are not going to accept trips that are underpriced. And they, they're learning from us, hopefully. And many of you here are veterans. All I'm saying to you guys is decline. If it's not profitable to you, decline. And this is actually a victory for the drivers that they're doing this. And look, if the cherry was a little bit juicier instead of 5%, because the matrix is fine. If the juice was maybe 15, 20%, then maybe I'll convert.
Now we're
more
talking.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, people. That's where we are. That's the. If you're in one of those cities, you're gonna see July. What is it? July 1st, July 8th, something like that.
Yeah, it's probably going to be rolling out, though. I wouldn't be surprised to more markets after that.
Okay.
So essentially what it is, yeah, you're a little blurry, but
am I blurry? Okay, let me go leave and come back in. So
all right. Either way, I want to know, chat, what would you do? Do you think that this is going to entice you to actually take more rides and try to get within those guidelines? Or is this something that you think is the hocus pocus and not going to be beneficial? So let me know what you guys think into the chat so we can figure that out. Oh.
Yeah, better. You know what happened? You put DK on. I got blurry.
It's the ghost of Dara.
Anyway, so
well, here's the thing. We could get Dara Q on. We could get Dara on.
Which Dara?
Our Dara imposter.
Oh, that Dara. Yeah, we could get that one. But hey, man, look, I appreciate it. I understand. I'm sure they went through a whole bunch of billions of terabytes of data and said, look, if we do this, some people may accept more trips, because these people are really not accepting trips. That's because we're just algos all out of control.
That just means you're still pricing it wrong after a year and a half, almost 2 years. Almost 2 years, you're pricing it still wrong. That's why acceptance rates are piss poor. So you need to go back to your own interview. And that's not the only time you said it. Now, Andrew McDonald said the same exact thing on another podcast, that it's acceptance rate goes down. It's on them because they're pricing rides wrong. I could probably find that. I don't remember what one that was on, but I could probably find that and play that as well too. So here's the thing. If acceptance rates are still piss poor, and you're saying you need to have at least a 25% acceptance rate, because we all know that a lot of acceptance rates are below 25% because they put that threshold in there. That just goes to show you that you, Uber, are not pricing rides correctly. You need to go back to your algorithms, fix your pricing, pay drivers more, and acceptance rate goes up.
Yeah,
it's quite simple.
This makes things so much more complicated on the back end, right? A driver's daily, those 3 matrix have to get calculated every day. It's going to give us more ammunition, Chris. The more complicated they make it on the back end, the more work we have.
And then wait, and then wait until we do our test between a standard and an advantage driver and see if there's actually a 5% difference. Because I guarantee you, we're going to find it where it's not 5%, Uber, and we're going to call your shit out.
I'm not one to burn bridges, and no. Uber. I'm not, but all I'm saying
we're going to get drivers what they're owed.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea, buddy. That's a great freaking idea. We're I can't wait until July anyway. So, long story short, this was what was the hoopla about. So, Uber, thank you for sending me that, so we know what's up. you know, this is a victory for drivers that Uber is going like, riders love coming back over to the Uber platform, and you're not accepting enough trips. I'm like,
Well,
you
that
know,
just goes to
I
show
actually,
you.
I actually think those metrics are pretty low, Chris. Below 8% cancellation. I think that's pretty fair. And 25% is really not that high of an AR, honestly.
No, but I'm wondering the threshold. Like, is that a 75th percentile? Are 75% of drivers above 25% or greater? Is it
We'll never
80%?
know.
Is it 60%? I mean, what I want to know what the percentage of drivers at that 25th percentile actually is. So that to me would be the number one detail I want to know is how many drivers are below that, how many drivers are above that when it comes to the whole of Uber. Because if they're implementing something like this, that just goes to show you that they're pricing wrong, and drivers are saying, this isn't worth my time. I'm waiting for the better rides to come in. And they're watching Show Me the Money Club, so they're going to be making more money because they're going to be cherry picking and they're not going to be ants.
I'm not concerned about, look, I do understand. And, you know, you said this week after week, right? Disruption is necessary. This is what my advice is to every new company that I talk to that want to get into this space. I go, keep it simple, stupid. Okay, just keep it simple. This makes things more complicated. This almost is like 33,000 coders trying to deserve the paychecks that they're getting. Let's try to figure this more complicated situation out. We have only 3 million drivers in the US. Everybody's AR, CR, the CMT driving score and the rating have to be calculated every day, and then we're going to send it to them, and some of them are going to be advantaged, some of them are going to be spent. Why is all this necessary? I'm not sure.
Well, just wait until September when the CMT score gets in there, your driving score. So they're gonna that's gonna take even more to calculate, because it's gonna have to take all of the sensory data in your phone, calculate it on how you're driving, and then be able to calculate a score. And I don't know if that's going to be done weekly. I don't know if that's going to be done daily. I'm not sure how they're going to calculate that score exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. I just love that you guys are doing this. That means we have jobs going for another few months. So thanks, Uber. But hey, man, much love. Thank you for sending it to me before anybody else. I appreciate it. It clarified things, you know.
Yep.
But ask your CEO. You know, ask your CEO if he said that. He did. He played it. So you're not pricing trips correctly. And please don't come back to me with the 32 per active hour shenanigans. Please don't. That's insulting. So come with something else. But yeah. So good luck, people, in those 7, 8 cities, states, wherever you are. Good luck. Let us know.
Well, until it rolls out some more. But you know, one of the things though is that will have no impact on areas that have minimum pays, like Seattle and Washington, like Prop 22 in California, like New York State, like
I don't think they can bring this to California. Yeah, I don't think they can bring this to California. I don't think they can. But you never know.
They could, but they'll have to give you that bump at the end. Because if you still have to meet that threshold. But if here's the thing, if you're meeting that threshold, let's say of $26, because that's what it is in New York. Let's say you're meeting that at standard, but you're getting 5% more.
Yeah.
Then I mean, over time, I mean, you'd have to figure out your calculations there to see if it's even worth it for you, if you're under those stats or not. But I mean, it might not depend on your area.
That's a good point. Yeah, I look, man, 5% is not going to make me do anything different. Although that 5% thing could have gone the other way around, like Lyft's priority. Remember, Lyft has priority as well. Like you make 10% less in exchange for more pings.
Yeah.
At least Uber is being generous here. They're giving you 5% more. You know what I mean?
Well, I think because if they did it the other way, I think there would be even a larger uproar. Whew, that would get a lot of people talking bad.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Uber does not like them being talked bad about. They don't.
No, they don't like bad PR, but you know, they're used to it by now. You know,
yeah, but when it comes to something like that, I think that's even too far off the path for them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I
seriously,
all I can
for
tell you,
every $1,000 that you make, that's only an extra $50. I mean, you could
yeah,
get a Play Octopus, and you don't have to worry about the standard or advantage, and you make the extra right there.
yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, all I can say is this is time will tell. We'll do our tests. We'll see what happens. We'll see how shaving enters the 5% area. But anyway, so thanks to Uber for sending that out. I tweeted it. I pinned it. You guys can see it on my Twitter account. Okay. It says, thank you, YOP.
Thanks,
Lyft is far worse than Uber in my market. Everybody is, yeah,
Yeah.
We're
I mean,
in
also,
2024. We shouldn't be getting $3-4 trips, but we are, unfortunately. Okay, so this dude right here, it must be from another channel. So I'm about to block you because you asked, like, you're spamming the board a million times over, and how come we don't promote private rides like other YouTubers? Because the other YouTubers and we have nothing to do with each other. Because when you do promote, okay, so I'm about to, if I can send you to YouTube heaven. Okay. We do not promote because it's illegal, sir. However, if you keep spamming the board, if you have commercial insurance and you have an LLC and you want to do all that in your own city and your state, you have nothing to lose. You don't have a house. You don't have a pot to piss in. You don't have anything to lose. Go right ahead and do your private trips. If you have something to lose, specifically, your life, and be in a lawsuit because that friend and family will become your unfriend and family in the case of a fender bender. We don't deal with kind of riffraff here. What we deal with here is the reality. Reality is, if you have your LLC, if you have your commercial insurance, go knock yourself out. Do all the private trips you want. Otherwise, we don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway,
the moral of the story is make sure you have all of your lines in order. Make sure everything's checked off in order to be able to do that. We've talked about it before, and there's nothing against it as long as you are properly insured, properly licensed, and have everything.
A lot of people are doing it.
You're just going to pick up some person. Like if you're going on Facebook and, oh, I need a ride from here to there for X amount of dollars. Oh, sure, I'll do it. Those types of problem. That's a problem. You can't do that. Same thing.
I mean,
somebody flags you down over on the street. Same exact thing. But if you want to create a private clientele, by all means, just make sure you have everything that you need in order to do it properly and legally and safely. So in the event that something happens, like you get into an accident or something else, then you're taken care of and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what it is to me? Like, actually, Mike sent me a couple of things. There's a company called Hum. Actually, I'm going to get in touch with them. And, you can do that on rides. You could do that on Y-Ride. They're providing you with the insurance. Do the trips on there. You're going to get paid more anyway. But then if you're going to do all these trips, right, and then be brazen about it and say, oh, look, I'm making more money because I'm doing all these private rides, bro, knock yourself out. You knock yourself out. And then, when trouble shows up, don't email me. That's all there's to it. Because to me, you're not just risking yourself. I will never do it. I won't do it because I have a house to protect. I own a house. I own assets. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to get sued up my ass. When if and 99.9% of the time, you're not going to get in a crash. But if you do, what are you playing with? Is playing with fire worth it for an extra 10, 20, 50, $100 you're going to make? Not to me. Maybe to them, it is. And, and the other thing is, I do also, some of the drivers who have nothing to lose, I don't blame them for doing it because the pay is so shit. You know what I mean? And they're so desperate that they're doing these trips. And honestly, I don't blame them. But I won't do it. And I will never, ever, ever say or tell somebody to go ahead and do it. Everybody on their own. You want to do it? Risk, reward, figure it out. If you want to do it, go and knock yourself out. But I will not talk about that.
Again, as long as you have everything in place and you have the certain protections in place, then you can. There's nothing wrong with that. And, it's a great way to make extra money if you want to take that route. But there's a lot of things that you need to do, and you need to make sure you're doing it legally. If you're not doing it legally, then that's where the massive issue lies.
It's all right, whatever it is, bro. I mean, to me, it's like people do what they do, we do what we do. Everybody has their audience. I'm more concerned about these types of things that happen. You know, when Uber does this, you know, facts and the results of how this is going to affect the driver community, right? This advantage thing and standard advantage. Yeah, maybe I'll be an advantage driver. My AR I think is above 25. I can get my AR above 25 for a day or two just to see it. I can do it. Anyway,
well,
so,
once we actually get it in practice, then we'll be able to see. I mean, everything's speculation right now, so we'll actually see what ends up happening. But let's move on. Let's talk about the federal government and if they're looking into algorithmic wage discrimination as well as dynamic pricing. So good and bad.
I think this is all good. You know, you heard that Walmart is changing their labels to electronic labels now. Did you hear about that?
So they can dynamically price them?
Yeah, figure that out, right? But then they're denying that they're doing it for that reason. I'm going like, then why else would you be doing it? But anyway, that's not the point. This is Jonathan Cantor. He's the assistant U.S. attorney. He is going to crack down, and you know, I want to say it so bad, but I can't say it. So anyway, he's going to crack down on this, on dynamic pricing, number one, because what it does is it benefits the monopolies or duopolies, like rideshare is at the moment, right? And I mean, clearly, this article is literally like his quotes are something I've been saying for I don't know how long. During interview with New York Times, published Saturday, Assistant Attorney General Jonathan Cantor was asked about dynamic pricing, or the practice of rapidly changing prices based on market conditions, often for a particular time of the day. So next screenshot. Cantor also told New York Times that the use of AI in determining prices is a concern as well. And that's part the algorithmic wage discrimination part. When asked if he knows AI tools communicating about prices in the same way as human colluding on prices, he replied, if your AI fixes prices, you're just as responsible, and that's antitrust. Okay, Chris? Mm-hmm. We're going somewhere. If anything, the use of AI or algorithmic-based technology should concern us more because it's much easier to price fix price fixing and antitrust, when you're outsourcing it to an algorithm versus when you're sharing manila envelopes in a smoke-filled room, he added. Companies are getting better at figuring out how to maximize profits. The more information they have about who you are, and what you're willing to pay, and on this one, I would have added what you're willing to accept, the more they can charge you and the less they can pay you. I think the ability to do that on a personalized level leads to greater extraction of monopoly power than probably ever seen in history. I'm going to get in touch with Mr. Cantor and I'm going to beg him to come on the show. But then I have connections now. Now I have so solid connections. Now, meanwhile, Walmart is replacing its sticker price labels with digital screens by 2026, saying that the switch will mean a price change that used to take an associate 2 days to update now takes only minutes. You know, the Wendy's did this, remember, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Tried doing it.
And Walmart is supposed to be the low price leader, right? Okay. But the world's largest retailer also insisted that it's not introducing dynamic pricing, okay? It's absolutely not going to be one of our, 1 hour it is the price and the next hour it is not. Greg Cathy, senior VP at Walmart, said that they will never do it. I hope not, Walmart. I hope not. But I love that the Attorney General's office has designated Mr. Cantor to look into this, to look into what you're willing to pay, what you're willing to accept. All this algorithmic shit is price fixing. If it's done algorithmically, it's price fixing and antitrust. This I've been talking about forever. And July is here. So there we go. Anyway, so yeah.
Here's the thing when it comes down to it. The way I read it and the way it seems, it's more on the customer side of things, not on the driver side of things,
That's okay.
when it comes to this. So when it's talking about dynamic pricing, they're talking about surge pricing.
Yeah.
And if surge pricing goes away, that is a problem for drivers because that can be some bread and butter for people, especially on, holidays, busy days, busy times. So if they're going to try to limit that, or if they're going to try to stop that when it comes to dynamic pricing on the surge side of things, that can actually really hurt drivers. And
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it seems like they're looking at more so than wage discrimination, based on AI. Although I do believe that they're probably going to have to look at that as well too, because of just AI. It's going to open up that door when they're doing investigations, especially if they're looking into Uber and Lyft. So I think that they're going to end up looking at it. I don't think that's how it's starting out. So hopefully this is something that will be good when it comes to the algorithmic wage discrimination, where everybody's at least put on the flat foot and the same rates. So we don't have to do our tests all of the time. And when there's a bonus that says you're going to make $5 extra or 15% more on that ride, you're actually getting that proper 15% or $5 more, whatever it might be, as well as no shaving or anything like that. That could be potentially allowed. So I think that needs to be addressed, or at least said a little bit more in this particular topic versus dynamic pricing, because dynamic pricing is more customer driven based. So that means if surge pricing goes away, a lot of people who look forward to the surge and the surge times, we're fucked.
No, I know that, but there is no surge left anyway in a lot of cities to start with. They have killed the surge. And I'm just kind of hoping and praying that, on the driver end, a lot of clarity, hopefully, will reach a lot of clarity, and with the help of some other people. And if it's legislators, if it's the Attorney General's office, fine. I am just saying that all this is not necessary for a business that's rideshare or delivery. Okay, I get it. Airlines do it. A lot of businesses are doing this dynamic pricing. Obviously, it's demand driven, supply demand driven. I get all that. I get it. I have an economics background. But when it's used to pay people less, or when it's used to charge people more, there should be some illegality into that. And when that needs to be looked into. That's all there's to it. So yeah. All right. So are we done? Oh, we're not done. We have our funnies and fakes. Yeah.
Yep. So let's go right into our funnies.
Yeah. These two hot-looking women in New Zealand took an Uber. Took an Uber, and they thought, I'm sure they were leaving a bar or whatever. They thought the driver was hot, Chris. Has that happened to you? That the rider, she thought they were hot and hit on you and stuff?
I've had that a few times.
All right, cool. So what happened is that this they started a conversation. There were some details in it that I cannot put up here, but obviously the conversation is going in a way that they're complimenting the driver, and the driver is reciprocating, and all that good stuff is happening, right? And it escalates, kind of to the point of, more compliments. and this driver misses a turn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the hilarious part is that when he misses a turn, because maybe he's flustered by these two beautiful women sitting in the back seat complimenting him because he's so good looking, and what they want to do with him possibly after the trip ends and all that good stuff, then he gets pulled over, the Uber driver, right? And then they do a roadside sobriety test on him, and he did not pass.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, he did not pass. Jailbait. And then the women were left stranded. I'm sure they called another Uber. And so the more funny part of the story is, look, the ride starts in a way, that's happy ending is about to commence. But then there was no happy ending.
I'm sure the joke for the payment of the ride was just the tip. came into play.
Yeah, just a tip,
But,
sir.
I mean,
tip you in the app. It's like, yeah, the guy went to jail for drunk driving.
I'm sure the tip was somewhere else, but that's this is a
his
family
tip is
show.
in jail. Yeah, and so these
Moral of
women.
the story: don't drive drunk.
Yeah, and don't miss it. Don't miss an exit. Don't miss.
I mean, if you miss an exit or a turn, just be like, "Oh, whoops, sorry." I'm
my
gonna make
app is
sure that
glitchy today.
or my yeah. You know,
My
it's
app is
it's been a little sticky for some reason. Sometimes it lags a little bit, and you know, this is the second or third time it's happened. I apologize. We'll make the next turn right away.
Yeah.
But he's probably drunk. He's like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go get it."
I'm really good looking, bro. I'm really good looking. I'm taking the girls home. Jail. But anyway,
Oh,
so
boy.
yeah, and then
All
we
right,
have our
well,
fakes. You know.
and I'm glad you didn't put sweets on this one, but
No. You told me as a real thing. This
yeah.
is fake. Gotcha, baby.
Gotcha, baby. Yeah, that's definitely fake.
Okay.
For sure.
Storm?
And then Storm.
Could it be?
I don't know. I mean, we could go X-Men. There could be a Storm.
Gotcha, baby, and Storm.
There's more of
I
a chance
gotcha,
of
baby.
Storm
It's a
being an
storm
actual
coming.
name.
Could it be? You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I thought it wasn't real. Okay, next week okay. See, you're throwing me these curveballs now with these fake names. I'm thinking it's fake. You're thinking it's not. It could be potentially a 1% chance, like swastika was. Swastika was a real name. We got nailed on that one. And
I mean, there's a lot of last names that are Storm.
Okay. All right. So I'm going. Okay, going forward, I'm gonna pick only things like the one on Lyft. Gotcha, baby, and stuff like that.
Yeah, ones that are definite, because some of them. I mean, Storm is a possibility. It's possible.
All right.
There's a possibility. The chance of it. There's a chance. There's a chance that's a real name.
Oh, see, I went to school with twins named Dusty and Cloud, and Storm was the triplets.
Storm Fields is a weatherman. Stormy Daniels. That donkey.
I picked up Yes Daddy. See, this is fake right there. Because I picked up Yes Daddy.
Yeah, that's definitely fake. That was actually the New Zealand girl.
Anyway, so yeah. All right, we're at the end of the show. We made it in 2 hours. Well, we appreciate all of you being here. Much respect. Be safe. Stay healthy. I can't do this without you guys. We can't. And you know, it was so gratifying, Chris, yesterday when I tweeted that out, right? And and it was like, oops, premature. You know what? Premature. Premature.
That's an edge case.
Spin rate. We have a spin rate now. You know, spin rate. AR, CR, and SR now. No, yeah, exactly. AR, CR, and SR. What do you think that is? Spinning rate. Is that like the time the rider is waiting for a trip? Is that?
I think it's the time when you hit request ride and you know how it starts spinning.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is.
Think so?
Or it's, let me see if there's actually something that's like a spinner time.
That
could be like a real thing. Like, you know when you go to like Dunkin' Donuts or something, and or McDonald's, and they show you you could see the screen with the orders on it, and it's got the timer. That could be called a spinner time. I don't know. I wonder if there's actually like anything.
I know about fidget spinners. they were
actually, that's funny because I typed in on Google spinner time and fidget spinner. Yeah.
So, but you know, the thing is, in the blog, the spin rate or spinner, whatever it is, was not in there. So that may be bad lingo, spinner rate or spin whatever. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this all ends up. Hopefully in those cities, you guys will keep me posted. I'm sure you will. Oh, Serge, look, they told me 5% more, but I didn't get it. I'm like, because it's more complicated now. So if there's like $100 trip, it's going to pay you like 105 now. Is that what we're guessing here? Is that what's happening? If you're an advantage driver, that's about it, right? Okay, cool.
5%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we
So
will have to
if
put,
you have a $100 ride, you're going to make $5 more. Or
yeah.
for every $100, you'll make $5 more.
Hey, something. I mean, we're telling people to do
Yes.
octopus, but then you have to work for that
Or
$5.
or you carry water in your car and you sell it for $1.50 a water.
Okay. You
Nice
make the
ice
5
cold
faster.
water. You put it in a cooler in your back.
All right.
Go to BJ's or Costco, grab a cooler for like $30.
I'm curious about why they did this. I really am. I mean, I connected the dots, obviously, in a way that, okay, people are not accepting chips and they're getting flustered.
Oh, it's 100%.
Maybe we throw them a bone, you
twofold.
know.
It's twofold.
Yeah? What is it?
It's twofold. It's the commercial insurance because they're putting
Yeah.
driving score into
Well,
it.
and
it's also because acceptance rate is low. So I think the majority of drivers are not accepting rides because they are priced too bad. And we just played it earlier, Dara from his mouth. If prices are not, or if your acceptance rate goes down, it is Uber's problem because they are pricing it wrong.
Maybe in those cities, 8, 9 cities that they announced this in, are the acceptance rates are low. Maybe that. Because there were like 9 cities. So it will be in the blog. I'm gonna write a blog today about this, an article, so you guys can go check all the cities if you're in that city. But anyway, so much love. Stay safe.
Oh, here you go. Is Storm a real name? Storm is a gender-neutral baby name of British origin. And Storm Huntley, Scottish television presenter. Storm Murphy, born in '99, American basketball player. Storm Reed, born in 2003, American actress. Storm Brook, South African-born New Zealand footballer. So yes, there are plenty of people named Storm. So that person could potentially actually been named Storm.
Okay, fine. I apologize to that person. You're not fake. Okay. I mean, you could be, but you're not, let's say. Going forward, I will only
2 weeks in a row. We got Sweets last week. And
bro,
we got
who named her kid Sweets, bro? Come on, man. Storm, okay, I understand. Friday, whatever, I understand.
Sweets.
Who named their kid Sweets?
Somebody in the Bronx.
Really? No.
She lives in the Bronx.
Oh, bro. I don't know.
So I mean,
all right, going forward, only crazy names. That's it. All right. Okay, people. Thank you so much.
Real fake names.
All
right. With that being said, good night, everybody. Go out there, make some money, be safe, be smart, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thumbs up, please. Please, thumbs up. Look, I'm sweating my ass off. It's hot in California.